everyone, Joshua Hanlon here, and I'm at the Atlanta Brick Co. Lego store here, and as you can see, there are tons of Lego bricks around me, and I'm with Ed, and he is the co-owner of the store here, so he's going to give us a little bit of history about how the store got started, and then a tour of everything that they do here at the company. So thanks for chatting with me.
My name is Ed Gaetani. Chris Cott is my business partner, and we met one day at a yard sale. I was selling online, Chris was selling online, and he comes by, he says, "Hey, you don't have any Lego?" I said, "Yeah, I do." And that wall you see here, back here, this wall, that was our Bricklink. That was my Bricklink store in a basement, and we basically hit it off. So we became friends. I started having, I would get him hooked up with some deals that I would get, and I had a lot more buying power with him behind me, and we just kept, accumulating stuff, buying more stuff, and calls me up in a couple years. He says, "Hey, why don't we rent a warehouse and we can hire some kids to ship for us?" And I said, "Sure, why don't we do that? But if we're gonna do that, let's put a cash register in here and get some people, walking in." And he goes, "Well, okay, if we're gonna have a cash register, let's do parties, let's do classes, let's do events. See, we do homeschool here too. Let's do parties. Let's get a Bricklink, a brick table, a pick-a-brick table." I'm like, "Yeah, let's do it." And we just grew from there. Those tables came from a store that was going out of business, by the way. They were selling linens. And I just bumped into this store that was going out of business. I'm like, "Hey, I know why they're going out of business." He's like, "Why?" "They're using Lego tables for linen."
You got to use them for what they're made for.
Exactly. They were perfect. They had the, the built-in walls so Legos would fall on the floor. And that's what we're using them for.
Yeah, that's awesome. So then talk about kind of when you decided to open a physical store here, how'd you decide on location and what was that process like?
We were looking for a warehouse, something that was cheap, that we could find. We couldn't afford any storefront. We were just starting out. This is an idea that Chris and I had. We weren't sure if it was going to take off. So we found this place. It's off the road. It's off the beaten path. You can find us online. If you're lucky, you can find us just by accident. We do have a big inflatable Lego guy out front. I don't know if you saw him, but he's quite visible during the day. And this was the cheapest place we could find. And we figured we'd start here, see where we went. And we started out with 2 bays. Then we had to move over to another bay for the parties because we didn't have enough room in here. So we've got about 2,200 square feet in here, maybe another 1,000 over there. So it's a good space. We'd like to have more, but you have what you have.
Yeah, that's really impressive. You were able to kind of transition from the Bricklink store, which obviously, kind of a lot of people sell part-time or whatever on Bricklink and dabble with that, but you were able to take that and transition into this whole massive space, and there's even more rooms that we'll show later.
Yeah. We'd like to do more, but it is what it is. Really what helps us, keeps us going is the parties, the events that we have, and that helps to keep the lights on.
Definitely. At the end of the day, it is Lego, so if you're gonna have rooms full of Lego, you might as well have parties and things like that.
We also sell stuff because we're not owned by Lego, we're not Lego, quote, affiliated. We can do other things than sell Lego. We can sell older sets that have been discontinued. Like a bunch of the older UCS sets up here on the top that we have, you can't get those anymore from Lego.com. But you come here, we've got them. A lot of the old pirate ships, the old knight sets, the castle sets. Everybody wants the castle sets. I like them, they're really neat. So we've got a lot of those that we sell here that you can't find anywhere else other than online or here physically. It's nice though to come into a place and see something that you're getting rather than buying it online. I think so anyway. I like going into a store, talking to people and picking something up that I can take home right now.
Right, and that's especially true of we have the pick-a-brick tables right here that you talked about earlier. You can come in and dig through and get the pieces exactly what you want. Talk about how this all works.
The cool thing is, it's like we sell this by the ounce or by the pound. $1.50 an ounce, $15 a pound on the weekdays after 6. We do like a special to get people in, $10 a pound. The cool thing is, if you order Lego online from anybody, they're gonna sell you a pound of brick, and it could be just any group of Lego that they wanna give you. And you're stuck with that. Here, you can fill up this container up to a pound or 3 pounds of the pieces you want. Any piece you want, the way you want it, however many pieces you need to build a project you want to build. So your money goes a lot further here because you get to pick the brick you want, which is great. A lot of kids like to come in here, they'll build cars, they'll build spaceships, they'll race the cars on our track here. They'll build little castles or houses and stuff and take them home.
Exactly, really wide selection of parts.
And they just weigh it and they go home with it. So
That works really well then. So take us through, you mentioned some of these sealed sets you've got here. Do you have any favorites of the stuff you have for sale around here, or anything that you've always been a big fan of?
We sold a sandcrawler that I always loved, because as a kid I always wanted the Star Wars sandcrawler that I could never get. It was battery powered. Well, we've got the older one, but the newer one was much better. This is the older one. Gosh, they're all my favorites. I really like them all. We had the Tantive 4 in here. We had the UCS Millennium Falcon, the first issue. We had that here. We had the Taj Mahal here. I understand they're making a release. We had Darth Maul's bust here. What do we have left?
And it's clear as you talk about these sets here that you're a big Lego fan yourself, so kind of talk about your journey a little bit with that as well, and kind of, did you play with it as a kid, and how did that work? When did you get involved with kind of the adult online Lego community? I
didn't really play much of it when I was a kid. I was more into sports and being outside. I got into it when my son was born. I started buying him a lot of Lego stuff, DUPLO stuff. But what I found out was toys do sell. Parents will live on ramen noodles just to buy the toys for their kid that the kid wants.
Exactly.
And Lego was the #1 seller. And that's when I started really getting into Lego. I was buying stuff for my son. He'd come into my basement and he'd pick what he wanted. Every time I got stuff in, he'd pick what he wanted, he'd go back upstairs.
Okay,
I didn't mind that one bit. And I'll be like looking for stuff. I just sold Hulk. Where's my Hulk? It came from, oh, I got it, Daddy. All right, I'll order. But that's how I really started getting into it. I've always liked Lego, but I just never really had much time for it when you're working as a professional. But I really got into it then to help him, to sell to help him. And I started selling Lego in different ways, taking it out of the box, selling the figs, selling the parts, doing things like that. And I really started enjoying it. As far as creations and things like that, I didn't really do a lot of that.
Okay.
I made stuff when I was a kid for my Hot Wheel cars. That was as far as it went. Now Chris is different. Chris got into it. He's always liked it. He did a lot more. He went a little bit further with it than I did. But I like it. I think it's great. The product is amazing. What you can do with it, what adults can do with the product. The utilitarian value lasts for when you're a kid until you're 90 years old. We have collectors coming in here that are in their 70s, in their 90s. We got vets coming in here for PTSD. It helps them cope. They just build stuff. And I think it's wonderful. It's just a great product.
Exactly. And you mentioned Chris there, so I know you guys have a presence at some Lego conventions throughout the country. Talk about kind of what you guys do at the conventions.
Chris does the conventions. He does the shows. He brings basically what you see here to the show in a show way. You know, we've got the tables. He puts out those figures out. We sell a few sets and things like that. And Chris usually does the shows. We're going to the one in Alabama. He usually does Virginia, Chicago. He used to do New York. But it's getting a little frustrating with certain Comic Cons where they bring in the fake Lego.
Right, okay.
That's been getting a little frustrating because they want to call it Lego when in fact it's not.
Clone brands and everything.
Right. So.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's nice that you can transition some of the store into the conventions and open it up to more people that way.
Right.
Okay, very cool. So we looked at the kind of pick-a-brick section here. If we make our way around this way, something that caught my eye, and I think you've got these at a few different spots around the store, is these big base plates here. Talk about those.
Yeah, that's Dream Lab. They're based out of Athens, and they're made in Gainesville, Georgia. These are great. I love them. We got some down here too, and on the side we got 2 foot by 2 foot, 2 foot by that's 2 foot by 4 foot. We got the little football field, and soccer field too somewhere. These are the 2 foot by 2 foots. Great for putting castles on and other houses and things like that.
Yeah, these are awesome. So custom printed base plates, just set out your whole world on there.
And if you've seen them in the party room, which we're going to go over there next, you can see that we have these on the wall, and Lego sticks to these very well. It's a good quality, good product. We loved it, so we decided to go ahead and sell it here in the store.
I know down here, I think we kind of start your whole section of minifigs.
We've got, we try to represent every theme that we can. This is a lot of the older themes, castle, basketball players. Over here we have Ninjago, Lord of the Rings, and that's another cool thing about the store. We've got sets you just can't find anywhere else. We've got Harry Potter down here, Indiana Jones. And then we move over to the DC and Marvel figures.
I'm sure those are popular with all the superhero movies coming out now.
Yeah, we got lots of Batman. He's my favorite Marvel guy. That was a joke. Some people will be like, what? And then we've got the Marvel people here. Up on the top, we've got some of the other licenses like Big Bang Theory, Ghostbusters, Toy Story.
I've always liked the Green Army Men from Toy Story.
Yeah, they're cool. They're cool. SpongeBob is represented somewhere around here. The Scooby-Doo and Ninja Turtles. Yeah, we've got just about almost everything Lego made. Take a look at old, what's that, Deadpool Duck?
Yeah, there you go, the Comic-Con stuff.
Yeah, from Comic-Con, yeah.
And do you sell custom, like third-party minifigs as well, or is this all just from Lego sets?
We do have Eclipse Graphics minifigs. We had a lot of them here. A lot of people bought them. They're really cool. We do have some custom ones on the end. We put them on the end cap. From, I think Pop Monkey's got a few that we've sold.
Okay.
We've got some of his, and there's another company, I forget what the name of it is. They're over here. They're all over there on the end cap. We like to keep them on the end.
And you mentioned this whole wall back here earlier, so that's just massive amounts of drawers. What are those used for as far as
those are sorted bricks. So if somebody's looking for something they can't find on the table, we try to make sure that we have some rare parts or some hard to find parts on the wall to give people a little less, people who are pressed for time, people who just can't find what they need on the table. We try to keep it here on the wall. So that's what we've done with that. It's just sorted brick, different varieties, tiles, printed tiles, things like that. That's usually if we get something sorted in. If they're already sorted, we get things in, like pieces of things, we put them in the drawer. Everything else is bulk, we just wash it, sanitize it, throw it on the table.
Right, that works well.
Yeah.
And I noticed this looks like is this a big blue DUPLO call box there from Doctor Who?
Chris brought some of that DUPLO from me before we had the store. He made that, and we had that light working at one time, and he used to bring that to the shows.
Okay.
That's DUPLO and Lego. It's hollow inside. You can put stuff inside it. He used to pack some of the stuff in there too.
Yeah, that's awesome. It's a really nice big centerpiece here.
Pull out that Doctor Who. Chris made this. Yeah, he's amazing at what he can build.
Yeah.
This is the last one we've got.
It's got the lights, the doors, and everything. Yeah.
Oh, wait a minute. Wait, ready? And it flies too, but every time I throw it, it doesn't land right. So
it just messes all up.
Yeah. So.
Cool.
That's really awesome. Yeah.
We've got a lot of printed figs here too, like some baseball players, some sports characters, and some Doctor Who's down on the bottom. We also make our own sets, like the Xenomorph building kit. We've got some others too, we've got the sonic screwdriver from one of the Doctor Who's. I don't know which Doctor it is. We've got one of them. 11th Doctor, he knows. How do you know that?
So yeah, so you've got custom stuff that if people come in here, or I'm sure you sell it online as well, they can get some custom stuff as well.
We will make custom stuff for people. We'll do custom builds. As far as the custom figs, I don't know if we've got more in the store than we have online. We've got maybe 60% of what we have is online, maybe less than that. Most of it's here in the store. There's a lot of things that we just don't have time to put online. A lot of these friend sets we don't have online. A lot of the big sets we don't have online. Some of the custom stuff and weapons we don't really have online. They come here and get them.
And something really cool I've noticed as we've walked around is all of these neat banners you've got kind of hanging around. Where have you picked some of those up from over the years?
Chris picked them up at the shows. We buy them from people that have them at the shows, because Lego doesn't sell those.
Right.
So we were lucky enough to get a group of them, and we started hanging them up to keep the warehouse from looking like a warehouse.
Exactly.
But that's pretty much what this place is. It's a warehouse.
But you throw a bunch of Lego in and it looks cool.
Right, yeah. People can't see the warehouse because of all the Lego. People come in and I can always tell when someone's been here for the first time. They walk in that room and they go, whoa. It's like, oh, how'd you hear about us? So,
now out here, we got kind of glass cases. It looks like more changing the style display a little bit.
Here's more of our own sets that we make here. More of those things. This was basically, we got a bunch of display cases. People that come in, they bring sets that are already built, and we don't have the boxes for them. Some of them we don't have the instructions, some of them we do. We don't want to bother taking them apart. They're really cool built. They look great. That's what Lego's all about. So we keep them built. And you know what's interesting? A lot of kids, when they come in, they don't want to build their own. They'd rather buy some things already built. So there's a lot of stuff that we sell out of these cases that are already built.
Right, I'm sure for a kid, they can see what it looks like built, and so it's a lot easier for them to see if they like that or not.
It's more attractive to them, yeah. We've got stuff that's super old in here, like that's the Lego mascot, that dragon down here. Some of you might
those are
recognize
awesome.
him. We got some old stuff up to the newest stuff. We've got some old space stuff out here displayed. Some of the Technic stuff.
I like the big Friends store display there. Those are always neat.
Yeah, they take up so much space. But yeah, that's the reason we kept that. That was the first Lego Friends sets that came out.
Okay.
I believe. Yeah, that's it. That was the first Lego sets that came out. We got stuff like this. I'd hate to take this apart. It looks so cool. The Porsche. You can see it's all built. You can see what it looks like. You could probably go to Lego and see it too, but you can actually put your hands on it here. Take a look at it. It's amazing what you can make with Lego.
You mess around with the models and everything.
People can come in here and they can look at things, pick things up, handle it. If you break it, you build it.
Yeah, it's convenient for that.
We also have some stuff that we made ourselves, like Mark.
Yeah, Mark Erickson.
Mark Erickson, he built that Masters of the Universe Castle Grayskull. Chris built the Nuketown from what game is that?
Is it Fallout? Is it okay, maybe not. I can't think of the top
I'm
of my head.
not a game player. I don't know.
But yeah, that's some really cool custom.
These are all custom built stuff here. Star Trek is represented in here.
And is that just for display at this point, or would you sell bigger custom builds like that?
I believe I'll sell you everything. I'll sell you those two guys that are working for me too if you want them. But we don't have prices on them yet. They're really for show.
Right.
And we've got architecture over here where we keep the screwdrivers. And we try to keep things themed together. Like if you've noticed where the Star Wars things were, they're all in one spot. Star Wars is against this wall over here. They're already built. And it's never the same. Almost every week you're gonna see something different in here because stuff moves in and out of here. This place is always in flux. It'll never look the same. You come in here next week, you're not gonna see what you're seeing now because people love the stuff that's out here. I love it too. I think it's great. It's like a museum.
Right, yeah. It's a great way to see a smattering of the different sets released over the years, almost like a history of
Pretty much. It's like a mini museum. Here's where we keep all our mystery figs against this wall. From Series 1, going on up, all the way up to 17. We even have the German soccer players.
There you go, completist.
Which are really cool. You can only go to Germany to get those, or you can come here. You can come here.
I love all these here. The new VIP one, that's an awesome set.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. We try to keep the coolest poly bags we have in the glass case. In here we keep the Bionicles and Hero Factory stuff here on this end. Kids go crazy over that. When we were selling online, we really weren't selling a lot of these. So I really wasn't crazy about them, but in the store, kids just absolutely love Bionicle and Hero Factory.
Yeah, no, it's a very dedicated fan base for sure.
It is, it really is. And it's just different opportunities open up for you when you have a physical store rather than when you have an online. But there's a lot more work that goes to it too.
Right, and then shout out to the Lego Wild West stuff here. It looks like you've got some of the original boxes for some of these sets. That's my favorite theme. I've always loved. I kind of grew up with that theme. So.
I like it. They did a good job with it. It never ceases to amaze me because I don't know what all the sets are, but we always get some in, and we try to inventory them and put them back in boxes. That and the castle, those are great. Those are really good. And this is where we keep the castle. It's over here. Castle stuff,
yeah, some of the classic, the older castle.
We were running out of room of Star Wars, so we had to infiltrate. But yeah, a lot of the castle stuff is here.
Forest Men, Knight's Kingdom.
Yeah, and this is just a hodgepodge of whatever we can find room for. This is a lot of stuff that we made ourselves. Chris has a game he invented called Tank Battles. And some of these things are building structures where we put our flags in to knock them down. With the little Lego blasters that have the little the projectiles that come
exactly.
out. We use those to knock down flags, and it's a game that Chris made up. It's really cool. They won't let me play because I keep beating everybody.
You're too good.
I'm too good. They won't let me play.
You've been crowned the champion.
Right.
Now it looks like you've got some awesome custom stuff in the middle here.
Chris built a castle on top of here with his son. Absolutely amazing. And then Mark and Steven helped to set up the scene, as did Chris. And then I started adding Chima in there too. Why not?
Right? Exactly. Yeah. Throw it all in there.
This is Edville, and it was a lot better. We had the fire brigade in here. We had almost every modular in here in a one city block with an alleyway. We had traffic going through. We even had a train going around the edge, but it was picked apart. We sell. It's the store, so we sell, and a lot of it got sold off. And
like you said, the cooler the display, the more people want to buy it. So you're going to have to get rid of it.
We had a volunteer build the Hoth base down here, and then it became overcrowded with other city sets and stuff like that. But we still have what's left of the hangar down there. But this was a whole Hoth battle scene.
Yeah, the modular buildings like that, when you make the cityscapes, are just so awesome. Are you excited for the new? Have you seen the new diner set? The new modular?
Yeah. I gosh, can't wait to get those. The modulars are my favorites. I really like the modulars. They're really good. Aside from the Star Wars, the next thing would be the modulars. Speaking of which, we've got the X-Wing, the Red 5 up here. I mean, it's when people come in, there's so much sensory overload in here. There's so much to see. You have to really take your time and look around, because you'll miss it the first go around. You got to come back and look at it again, and you'll see, oh wow, it's always amazing when you come back and you look at it again. You're going to see something you didn't see before, because there's so much here. We cram a lot of things into a little space.
You do, yeah, but you make use of all the space, and that's what it's all about. I mean, same thing with your personal collections at home. You know, everybody has to.
Did you all see the sets hanging from the ceiling?
I don't think I did notice them.
Okay, we'll have to go back in there.
Yeah, definitely.
We started running out of shelf space, so we just said, okay, let's start going up. And I'll show you what I mean.
Okay. Yeah, this is great.
Now just look up.
Oh, here, okay.
We had these filled. We kept selling sets off of it, but we had nowhere else to go.
Start hanging shelves from the ceiling?
So we started hanging shelves from the ceiling. You know, we put them high enough to where nobody could reach it except us with a ladder. So it's what we've got to deal with right now.
You said you do what you can with your space.
Do what you can with what you got.
Awesome. So then I think next door.
Let's go next door. I'll show you the party.
Yeah, the party room.
Party room. Still smells like pizza.
Just fresh off a recent party.
We hung our base plates on the walls over here.
Okay.
There's Lego everywhere.
A lot of the printed base plates we saw earlier here. You've got the big throne here.
That's the throne room, the party throne.
What type of brick is this?
It's some type of plastic. I don't know where we got that. I think we got it online. It's not Lego. We do have the big foam brick here, but this isn't that.
Okay.
This is some other type of brick building block system that we thought would be great for. We usually are having to rebuild a throne room every party because kids just tear things. They love to tear things apart. I don't know why. We here too. We have pick a brick because a lot of the events we do for parties, kids have to build cars, build towers. They build different things because it's a Lego party. You're going to be building.
So you have kind of activities set up so there's some structure to it to keep the kids going.
That is correct. Okay. Yeah, it's 2 hours long. We get good reviews at the parties. Parents really like it, and they love Jonathan, so that helps.
And this looks like you've got kind of a racing ramp right here.
That's a much better racetrack than we have in the store. And a lot of the kids, they put the cars on this starter ramp, bring it down, and the cars fly down the track, and we have races, see who wins, stuff like that.
Oh, that's great. Yeah, I think that the racing cars like that is always popular. I mean, there was a section we were just at the Lego house in Denmark that they recently finished building. They've got something like that there. So I think no matter where you are in the world, kids enjoy building a racing car.
They want to race a car. This is our regulation size Lego table for the robotics for First Lego League. We sometimes we hold practices here for some Lego League teams. They come in here and they have meetings or they practice. This is sort of our classroom media section, which we use it for the parties. A lot of homeschool and other events, summer camps, we hold it all in here. A lot of room, a lot of stuff you can do in here.
Yeah, this is a great space because, you know, obviously a lot of these kids might not have a very big collection at home, but they can come here and have a party and use all the tables and everything, all the bricks you have.
Right.
And yeah, it works really well.
And more banners to hide the warehouse look.
So how often will you have parties in here? Is this kind of a daily thing, or?
It's usually on the weekends, sometimes on a Friday night. Usually on the weekends, we do about, 4 to 5 parties. They book up pretty quickly. So if you're going to do it, if you're going to book a party, you need to book it at least a month or two in advance. And yeah, people really like our stuff. They like our parties. That's one more for the toddlers that they, every little boy has a little brother or sister, and that's where we keep them. We keep them penned in beside a little Duplo.
There you go. Keep them occupied with the Duplo until they're old enough.
And it's funny, when toddlers come in the store, they gravitate right to the Duplo. In our store, we have a little section of Duplo, a little table, and the toddlers go right to the table to build their little things or play with their little things. And the older children go right to the tables and start building their thing. So you don't have to tell them where to go. They see it, they go right to it. They gravitate right to it.
What are some of the major challenges that you've kind of faced over the years as you guys have built this up?
Major challenge, stay organized.
Okay.
If you're gonna sell Lego, make sure you have a place for every single element and every single part. That's the number one thing, because filling the order, you have to know where everything is to be able to fill it fast and get it out the door fast. And be ready to spend a lot of time. This is not something that you want to do halfway or half-cocked. You either are dedicated and you want to do it, or you can't be halfway. You either do it or you don't do it at all. You just can't. You can't ever run a big store. You can't do a lot unless you are really vested in it. And you can love it. And here's a problem. If you're a Lego fan and you love Lego, you might not want to open a store because you're going to want to keep everything you get in.
Exactly.
So it might not be a good idea for you if you're the hobbyist. It's a business like everything else. You cannot fall in love with what you're getting in. I like everything that comes in here. It's great. But you got to be able to turn it around. And that's another thing. You got to keep your feelings out of it and treat it as a business. And that's difficult for a lot of people to do.
Yeah, that is. That's interesting, though. I can see how that'd be a major stopping point for a lot of people where they have to actually let go of it, which is not always easy.
Yeah, just remember, you don't own the business. The business owns you. And it's that way for a while. We haven't seen anything like major for us financially yet. We're still spending money. It costs a lot of money to keep this going. We haven't seen a return yet. We're hoping maybe one day we will. But right now, we're still growing. We've been here 2 years, and it takes a while to see anything turn around. But we enjoy it. We like what we're doing. We're proud of the idea that we have. We like this idea, and we'd like to take it as far as we can.
Yeah. So at the moment, then, do you still sell primarily online? Is that how it works?
That's primarily what we do, is online and the parties. The parties help keep our store where it's at. It keeps us going. There's not a lot that people come and buy Lego, enough to keep us going. They don't do that enough to keep us going. I'd like to sell this stuff all day long. It'd be great.
Exactly.
But some days you don't have good days. Some days you do. We're hidden. We're not out in the front, so we lose that impulse buying. But people that know where we are, they come. We have a lot of regular customers. We're glad about that.
If people want to check you out online, or even if they want to visit the store here, what's the easiest way to do both of those things?
atlbrick.com.
Okay.
That'll tell you everything. You can Google us, atlbrick.com. You'll find us on the map, and you just come see us. We're really close to the airport. It's a major hub. We've had people coming here from Colombia, from Spain, from Australia. They heard about us online, and they said, hey, I'm held over here for like 3 or 4 hours. Let me head on down to Lego store. We're like a half an hour away from the airport. And we get people coming in from all different parts of the world, which is really cool. So we're in a pretty good spot as far as being from the airport and being near Atlanta. We're not in the hustle and bustle, but we're close enough to where you'd want to make the trip. If you're within 4 hours of this store, you want to come by. It's worth the trip. You want to at least come and look at the place. It's definitely worth it. You'll be happy. We get people coming from Columbus, from Birmingham, from Montgomery, almost every weekend. They come in. We've had people from Augusta, Georgia, from Athens, from Florida, from Orlando, coming to see us, making trips. Or some people will go, like now for the holidays, a lot of people drive up to Indiana, Chicago from Florida. They make sure they stop at our store. and they do that every year. So far, they've done it for 2 years, so that's pretty cool too.
Or in my case, you're doing the opposite and trying to escape the cold in India.
Yeah, you're trying to escape this cold and go the other way, which is a smart thing to do, which I would highly recommend.
Exactly, yeah. Well, it's a really awesome store. I appreciate you taking the time to show us around.